Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared with Indoor, Outdoor, and More. Today we're gonna go outside. Of course, it's nice and cozy inside. We are in February in central Louisiana. Everything is dead, dormant. It's not looking pretty. It's cold. It's windy. It's just downright ugly outside, which is a perfect time to do what we're gonna be doing today. Today we're going to do a soil test. And by doing the soil test, that will allow me to check my pH. Of course, that will allow me also for them to tell me what NPK I need to add to the soil. And of course, there's several other things that you could check off that you could get tested in your soil. So of course, I picked this up at our LSUA Ag Center office, and it's a nice little box. Inside, of course, it is 3 other little bags. And of course, this is what you're going to put your soil sample in. And of course, it has the directions of how to take your soil sample. So it recommends doing 10 to 15 separate little individual sites throughout your test area. And of course, that allows you for different samples to get a more average type soil. And of course, you could divide it up to front yard, side yard, backyard, or whatever. And of course, you could even use it for agricultural purposes, of course, for fields. And of course, when you fill it out, you write on the little bag, of course, the location. And then also you'll put what type of crop, whether it's some type of fruit trees possibly, or even if it's a particular turf grass. So that's about it. So the tools we're going to need is, of course, a little plastic bowl. Of course, that's what we're going to put our soil samples in. Once we get about 10 to 15, we're going to mix it all up really good. We're going to take out any kind of large organic pieces, whether it be grass roots or leaves or bark or whatever. And we're trying to give them a really nice clean sample of soil. So we also going to need a little garden shovel or a garden trowel. So that's pretty much it, guys. All right. Y'all put on y'all's coat. We're going outside. Y'all come dig some dirt with me. Okay, guys, this is going to be our first test site. It's going to be the front yard. And I'm just going to randomly go out like in a little zigzag pattern. And I'm going to get us about 10 to 12 samples. All right, let's go. All right, guys, let's dig in. All right, so we're going to just take us a nice little scoop for the lawn. We're going to get 3 to 4 inches deep, and because that's normally about the depth that your lawn grass will grow down to, depending on, of course, what species of grass. So we just gotta fill in our little hole. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, next hole. Man, we're really digging it right here, you know what I'm saying? All right, we're gonna get down. There we go, get us a little sample. All right, let's go to the next one, guys. Okay, guys, we're still digging in the dirt. Gotta love it. Of course, what's good about doing it this type of year is it normally takes about 2 weeks for them to get your results back to you. But of course, our main growing season ain't till, say, April, I guess, for the most part, by the time your grass gets growing good. So that allows for a couple months if you have to come back and amend. So if you need to put sulfur or if you need to put garden lime, that gives it a couple months for you to be able to go back in and it kind of gets into the dirt and settles in for when everything starts growing. Don't let it snow. Don't let it snow. Hey guys, y'all don't dig in ant piles. All right, another sample. We rolling on with it. All right, guys, got a little bare spot. I got a lot of clay in my front yard. So, of course, I'm going to be, again, selective and kind of get a little bit each of every soil type that I have. All right, we're knocking them out. Let's go. All right, guys, I'm all grown up and I'm still playing in the dirt like a little kid. I hope y'all got yours coat on. It's cold as an ice cube out here. This is hole number 12. This is the last one I'm to do in this little sample area. So we got to dig down. We got to get 3 or 4 inches down there. Give them a nice, good sample. I'm noticing too, as I'm digging, my ground is really compacted. I have a lot of clay soil once you get down a little bit. Of course, when you got clay, it's really hard for the roots to penetrate good. And also, it's really hard a lot of times for the plants to get all the nutrients that they need when it's heavy clay. And of course, there's several amendments that you could put. A lot of times they'll put gypsum into the dirt, and of course it helps to keep it loosened up. But mostly by tilling in a lot of organic material, compost, leaves, stuff like that, it really helps with compaction. All right, so I got a nice little sample right here. I'm going to go through, mix it all up, get all the debris out of it, and then we're going to put that in our little sample. All right, I'm cold. Let's go back inside. All right, guys, so we're back inside, nice and cozy. So this sampling box, of course, comes with 3 different little bags. So you have the ability to send off 3 samples. So again, you gotta put your dirt sample in. It's about a pint of dirt of what it holds, and you seal it up nice and neat. And then, of course, again, on here, of course, you put your name, your address, and again, you need to put the location. So you could put like front yard, left side, or front yard, carport, or just whatever, right side, backyard. And that's not necessarily for them, but that's so, of course, within the couple weeks that it takes for them to get your analysis back, in case you jotted down what areas was what, you lost a little list, you forgot, or whatever. So, of course, that's why it's good to give a good description. And then, of course, like in my case, I'm going to have St. Augustine grass is what I'm really doing the soil test for, to check my pH, and, of course, any type of amendments I need to do as far as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And you fill that all out. Of course, you could scan the little QR code, and it gives you a little video and more directions specific on how to do it. So, of course, you're going to take the little bag full of dirt. You're going to stick them in the box that they provide with you, okay? You just stick it in there, and it folds up all nice and sweet. On the back, you put your address and your email. If you put your email, you'll get the analysis data back a few days before they actually mail you a paper copy of your results. So, of course, this is the LSU Ag Center, Louisiana. So they actually have the address to where they test it. And of course, it's in Baton Rouge. So that's basically it. It's going to be a couple weeks. They say, you know, average of about 2 to 3 weeks before you get your samples back. And that'll be the perfect amount of time for me to amend my soil. And that'll give me roughly about 2 months before the springtime gets in and the grass starts growing out of dormancy. And it'll be just right to be able to absorb everything that I amended in the soil. So that's basically it. I do recommend y'all doing a soil test. That way you know exactly what your soil needs, and you're not just guessing. You're not throwing out lime, and instead you need to be throwing out sulfur instead, or vice versa, depending on if it was too alkaline or what it was. But of course, in my case, St. Augustine grass likes about a 6.5. So I know how much to put. Normally, nitrogen does not come back in the analysis, but you can check off if you want nitrogen to be sampled and see the amount that you have, and of course, how much you possibly need to add. All right, guys, so that's basically it. Y'all give me a like, a thumbs up. Y'all even subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.